Oh man, do we have a good one for you today. Andriy Borchuk is the owner and founder of an email marketing company based out of Ukraine. I had one of the most interesting conversations from the InWork podcast to date because, unlike a lot of the agency owners that I speak with, they're not struggling with lead generation. Andriy's team is generating 100 leads a week. The big problem that he was encountering was their close rate was incredibly small. And in this conversation, we start to talk about what are some things that Andriy and his team can be doing to really close more deals. They have a robust sales team. It's not one people, it's a handful of people. And they should be closing about 20% of all the people they have coming through, and they're closing much, much less than that. So we start to talk about how to find sales qualified leads, what is an SQL, and then also how do you take some people that are disqualifying themselves or saying, hey, maybe I am ready to start, and then they just don't start. How do you get them to go? So this is a really interesting conversation. If you're wanting to generate more sales out of the leads you're already generating, this is a conversation for you. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast. Andriy, I'm so excited to have you here, brother. I cannot wait to get into it. All right, so your biggest struggle, you own an email marketing agency, and the thing that you're struggling, by the way, your website's gorgeous, Andriy.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's very well done.
Thank you.
Your biggest struggle right now, which is a struggle that a lot of agencies have, is sales. So why don't you walk me through right now, how many leads are you generating right now every month? Where are they coming from? Are your clients coming from referrals? Just give me an overview. How are you getting your customers and clients right now?
So exact number, it's just I don't remember. It's hard to from
It's
top
okay.
of my mind to say the exact number, but I think every week we get probably close to 100 or more leads. And we are very diverse in terms of getting leads. So it's but probably like 30% comes from Google, like organic search,
Beautiful.
and like from partnerships, from referrals, from YouTube, from podcast, like many different sources.
Great. So you guys are getting all these leads. Are you seeing a lot of results in the conversions, or are you finding it challenging to convert those into sales?
Uh, w- we are pretty new in terms of sales team. So we have a sales team of, I believe, close to like 9 people.
Okay.
So we just we well-established agency in terms of like operations, delivering the product service to our clients. But in terms of sales, we are like newbies. We just start building our full-blown like sales team only this year. So we see challenge in terms of conversion. They schedule a call with us. We give them the presentation, and they kind of like it, but then either they disappear or dragging their feet.
Cool. All right. So that's great. Oh, this is going to be a fun conversation, brother. This is going to be so great, man. All right. So when you go into a sales conversation, tell me a little bit, like, what's your average client paying you? That's number one. I'm not saying high end or low end, but what's the average?
It's like 5,000 a month.
5,000 a month. Okay, great. So when you get these people that are coming in to the conversation, my guess is that there's a lot of people that don't have 5,000 a month to give you. and
I would kind of disagree on that, because we have our pricing on a website, so we don't kind of we advertise all over the website how much we charge. But maybe you're right.
Yeah, when I looked at the website, so here's what's funny, Andriy. I put our pricing on our websites too, and people don't look at it. And then we talked to them, and we're
Okay.
like, well, and we found, because we take so many calls also, we're not taking 100 a week. We found for us a sweet spot for the agencies that I own, the companies that I own, is about 150 every month. is what works for us really well. And what we've seen in the data is of 42% of the people that come through our stuff, and most of our leads are coming through one-to-one marketing, or they're coming through cold email outreach. 42% of them are not checking out the pricing page, which means 42% of the people that we talk to on a regular basis have no idea what our pricing is. And so it becomes a conversation issue. So one of the things that, and by the way, we price our stuff on average is about $5K a month too, for the agencies that I own. So whenever I looked at the plans and kind of what you guys have going on, I was like, on the $2,500 a month plan, that's very accessible to a lot of people. So then it makes me wonder, all right, so what are the sales conversations like? Andriy, you're the founder. I'm assuming that you did a lot of the selling early on. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So when you were doing the selling, were you seeing a higher conversion rate than you are now moving to your sales team?
I would say the same. Yes, probably higher conversion when I did this, because we have the same number of deals we closing per month, but more leads. So so the conversion went down.
Yeah, so when I did this in my first agency, and then I did this in other agencies, what I found was whenever I would take a call, I could close them about 38% of the time. And then when I brought in a sales staff, they were converting about 20% of the calls.
Okay.
And so what I started to do was I realized, one, there's something special about being the owner and founder, right? Like you're going to have some cachet that other people, well, because everyone wants to talk to the owner founder, like that makes them feel special, and you can also give stories and case studies because it's in you. This is your business, it's your baby. So one of the things that we started to do was I started to take my team through a training process on consultative selling. Have you ever heard about consultative selling?
Kind of, maybe not sure with a whole in details about this, but I think I heard about it.
I'll lay it out, because this is how we run all of our companies now, is with the same sales model. And what we saw when we did this was the conversion rate that they were getting went from 20% to 33%. So it was a huge jump, made a big difference.
Yeah.
And so basically, here's how it works. So people come in, and for the first, we always do 30-minute calls. How long do you do your calls for, those initial conversations?
I think also 30 to 45.
Okay. Perfect. So what we would do is for the first 10 to 15 minutes of a 30-minute call, we would ask a series of questions. And the way that we'd set it up is this. We'd say, hey, listen, Andriy, on these calls, we disqualify 60% of the people that we talk to. They're not a good fit to work with us. Now, that's real. I didn't make that number up. That's a real, true story. Here's what's going to happen. After the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to know if you qualify or not. And I will say at that end of that time, hey, listen, you don't qualify. You're a great person. You're just not a good fit for our process, our product, our service. So I'm going to let you give you 10, 15 minutes back of your day. We're going to end this conversation now. Okay. Or you're going to qualify like 40% of our prospects do. And at that point, I'm going to make you an offer so good, it's going to be impossible for you to say no. Does that sound good? To which the prospect goes, absolutely. That sounds amazing. Great. So then I say, hey, I took a look at your website. I have an idea of what you're up to. Tell me in detail what your business is about and what you have going on. And so then they talk to us, and then we're just asking them questions. So for you, I know that you guys use Klaviyo a lot, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, some of that's just going to be easy conversations of, hey, are you married to, what email sending platform are you using? Oh, we're using MailChimp. Okay, are you married to using MailChimp? Well, no, if I can get better results in some other platform, I'm open. Great. Okay, so now they checked one box. So then I'm just asking them questions like, if I were you, I'd be going, how many email campaigns are you sending out every month? What are the results that you're getting? How old is your list? Are you updating it constantly? Is it segmented? You're going to be asking, you guys may already do this. Is this stuff that you already do?
Yeah. And no, we ask some questions, but not in such details.
I think that the details, because listen, people want to talk to you first. They want to be heard. And one of the things that I see some agencies do and a lot of SaaS companies do is they bring in people to a conversation and they go, hey, let me show you what our program looks like. And they start going through a slide deck. And what it does is, instead of being engaged in the conversation, the prospect is already sitting back here and they're going, okay, yeah, let me see if this is going to work for me. And so we ask those questions. We're getting those details on the front end so that we understand the problem. Then this is the key. So then we say, all right, so based off what you're telling me, how much money do you think you are losing because your email marketing isn't as good as it could be? And they're going to say, I don't know. Promise. And so you say, okay, well, what's your average purchase? Like, what's the dollar amount for your average purchase? And they're, I don't know, they may say $200, let's say, easy round number. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so our fee normally is $5,000 a month. You have a list of 20,000 people. You're seeing a conversion rate of 0.25%. Our average client sees a conversion rate of 0.5%. So if we're just doing math here, it sounds like you have a pretty expensive problem because you're performing at half the rate that our average client does. So if I could get you an extra 0.5% or 0.25% of 20,000 would be what? 1% would be 200. So an extra 50 purchases at $200 a month, an extra 50 purchases, that'd be 10 grand. So if I charge you $5,000, but you make an extra 10 grand, would that work for you? And they're going to go, yeah, probably. Yeah, that'd be great. Great. So I just fixed your problem. You're going to make more money. Let me tell you how we do it. And then you go into, here's why our solution works. Here's why we're great. Here's what we do. This is what makes us different from other people and probably different than what you're up to. But that first little step is, how much is it costing you? And it may be costing them $1 million. I've done these conversations a lot, Andriy, and they're like, yeah, my problem, I don't know, if I guess at it, it's probably costing me 20 clients a month or 100 clients a month. And yeah, if you could help me solve it, a client for us is worth $5,000 a month. So if you get me 20 new clients, that's $100,000 a month. Wow. And I'm like, great. Well, my solution only costs 50 a year. And they go, whoa, that's amazing. And I say, yeah, so my solution is 50 grand, but the upside for you is 1.2 million over the same time period. Does that work for you? And everybody goes, yeah, that maths out. And then I go, great, let's go into it. Let me show you how this works. And what ends up happening is we have such a high close rate because we took the steps to set up the client, the customer, for success. And most of the time, it's just working them through the logic that's going to help them see what's true. Does this make sense? Does this help? It sounds like it's very different than what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense, and yeah, it is different than what we do now.
So, if you started to do this, one of the things that I'd recommend, Andriy, is that you start to go do this first. Go take some sales calls with your team, okay, and have another salesperson on the call with you. Could be your head of sales. Do you have a head of sales?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Take them with a head of sales and go through the process of going, and I'll send you a format after we get off this call that you guys can just take and make it your own. But I would go through and just start to go, okay, how could we ask questions and make the prospect talk to us so that they feel heard? Interesting stat. HubSpot found this from Gong.io that the top salespeople only speak 54% of the time. The bottom salespeople speak 66% of the time. What does that mean? They're talking too much. They're not listening enough.
Okay.
So needs to get closer to even.
So what was a consultation calls kind of free consultation call? It makes total sense. But also we have one offer where we get a lot of leads from, like, we do free email marketing audits for our clients. So basically we go to their accounts and we do it's not cookie cutters. We kind of do it other agencies like charge for that.
Right.
And but the challenge for us, it's easier to get to their account, easy to do the audit, easy to present them everything that we found. And even we have the calculator showing them how much money they losing. The uplift when we implement this, but then we have a kind of challenge to convert them to the clients, to the customers.
So why do you think that is? What's the disconnect there?
I mean, in some cases, the audit's so good that they just take it and implement it themselves.
Yeah.
The other things, I don't have I don't have much experience to answer that question, so I don't understand why.
So what may be interesting there, Andriy, is if you do the free audit as a way to incentivize them to say yes. Tell them that you will give them the first month at the half cost because you already did the audit, it's already done, and that's a huge part of your work. What it's going to do is it's going to increase your your client acquisition. It's going to cost you some money in the beginning, but you already put money in by doing the free audit.
Yes.
And so why not just discount and say, listen, I'll discount the first month and let's do this. You don't want to run this anymore. I mean, and this would be some of the things I'd say. You don't want to run this anymore. You're busy. You've got other things to do. And that may be another way that you can start to frame this. If you weren't writing emails, what would you be doing? That may be a really good phrase for your sales team. If you weren't having to handle the email situation, where would you spend your time?
But also, our clients is not founders. Also, like some clients, like sometimes we work with enterprise or medium-sized businesses where they have teams, and there's many layers before the founder.
Absolutely.
So it's not. Sometimes it's like part of their job to manage this.
Yeah, and so that may be a way for you to start DQing some of those free audits. It could be, hey, is this a core function of your job to send out cold emails? Yes. If they say yes, then I don't know. Maybe it's not an audit. Maybe it's a conversation first. And you say, well, okay, so if we took this over, what would you do? Because that may need to start to be a conversation. And that may be something where they say, Andriy, actually, I am doing emails right now, but the company really wants to move this off to somebody else. And so I'm going to be moving into a new role. Great. Well, let's talk. But if somebody's coming to you and they're like, I need a free email audit. Oh, well, but I'm the email marketer. Well, they're not going to hire you. Yeah. Because that's their job. So I think that there may be a conversation somewhere in the middle where you go, hey, listen, owner founders are great. They typically don't have enough money if they're sending out emails. So not a great customer. I'm sure that the clients that do come through that are like larger, they have more scale and budget. Those ones are great combos to have. And there needs to be some sort of like, hey, are you trying, and maybe this is a better way to phrase it, are you trying to get email marketing off your plate so that you don't have to do it? Or are you just trying to improve it and keep running it? Because if they're just trying to improve it, then you may be doing a lot of free audits and helping a lot of people a lot. And the reality is, it's not helping your business.
Okay, makes sense.
I found this, by the way, and I'm telling you this because I used to do 3 free meetings booked with my SDR agency. And I'd have people come in, they'd get the 3 meetings and they'd move on. And they wouldn't even have a conversation to be like, hey, how are the meetings? They had no intention of signing on. So what I started doing was I said, hey, listen, book a call and we'll give you 3 meetings free. And so then I'd take a salesperson would take a sales call with them and they'd say, hey, tell me about and they do the consultative selling. And then at the end, they'd say, well, I want the 3 free meetings. We'd go, great. We're going to have you sign an agreement to get the 3 free meetings. If you don't engage with us after the 3 free meetings, like you don't say, hey, listen, I'm not going to move forward, then we're going to charge you our monthly amount. At the time, it was $4,500. We're going to charge you the monthly amount after the 3 free, unless you tell us that you don't want to. We'll give you 72 hours to do so. And we got a credit card on file. every time with each of these clients. And so
Mhm.
then they were a little bit more committed. Then what we started doing to even up it a little bit more is I said, look, we're going to take a $1,000 deposit. It's fully refundable. I'll give you 3
Mhm.
meetings for free. If you don't want to engage after that, I'll give you the $1,000 back. But if you do, I'll just credit it to your first invoice. So it's $1,000 off your
Mhm.
first invoice because you already paid it. There may be some ways
Okay.
here for you to increase that conversion rate by starting to look at what are the things that are holding it back from going higher? Because I love the free audit. It's so good. That's such a good offer. And it seems like that may be hurting you.
Mhm. Okay.
Does that
Makes
sound
sense.
good?
Yes. Yes.
Cool, man. Any other questions or thoughts on this?
Uh, no, not really.
Okay. Well, if people wanted to check out Flowium, if they want to check you out, where can they do that, Andriy?
Yeah, just simply go to flowum.com. It's FLOWIUM and .com. And yeah, all
Awesome.
information is there.
And I'll just say this to the people that are listening. I've checked out Andriy's site. I've checked out some of his case studies. Their work is immaculate. If you're looking to grow, scale, change up your email marketing, go give them a look. I'm really impressed with what they have going on. And yeah, thanks so much for coming on, brother. Good chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.